So yesterday I picked some coffees. You saw my canasta filled a little bit halfway. You saw me get paid for the coffee. And right now we're going to go down to the mill and we're actually going to see the coffee being processed. So come along. So we're getting real close to the mill. And there it is. So we're going to continue to head down this trail until we get to it. So here the fruit is getting measured out again for a second time. So they measure it the first time, then they pay the farmers, and now they're measuring it again. With coffee, it's all about measurement and selling it by the pound. So you need to make sure that you're always working with the same measurements. The beans fall down into this big bass, and then from here it gets loaded into the tractor trailer at the bottom of the doors. Okay, so it's nighttime, and now we're going to actually see the coffee cherries be depulped. It's a whole process that takes place behind me. So let's see how they do it. So just like we saw before, they're measuring out the coffee. It gets measured by volume and then dumped into the big bass tank below. This is the tank below. And inside this tank is water. So it's filled with water and coffee beans. Now the floating beans and the floating debris is not good. Good quality coffee will sink to the bottom. And that's what they're doing now. They're putting the coffee cherries in with the water so that they can separate them. It's a second process of separation. First process being off the tree. So this is the depulping machine. And what takes place here is the beans are up top. And they fall through this conveyor and they're pushed through this unit right here. And all the good quality beans are falling down into this trial. So you can see the majority of the beans are separated from the cherry, which is what this process is. It's called depulping. On this side of this pulping, there's a screen barrel down here. And what happens here is, if the beans are the right size, they pass through and they go to the next level, which is the holding tanks which you saw earlier today. If they're not the quite right size, then what takes place is they get moved to the next machine to be separated again. See, during this whole process, there's a lot of water being used. Right down here is where all the cherry, the skin, and the mucilage is. And what happens now is this gets taken down and brought out to a station out here. And in that area right there, which is dark right now, is all of the skin of the beans. And that they dry that out, and then that's brought back to the farms and put underneath the trees to be used as fertilizer. This is the cherries getting taken and sent out. So we're back down at the holding tanks, and now we're seeing that they're just starting to fill up now. And this is what happens at night. And they're all coffee beans with the mucilage removed and the skins removed. And they're going to fill up this tank, and then they're going to ferment. So for 24 hours they're going to sit in this tank. And he's using the water right now to rinse the coffee and to push it through the trap door. So this is an agitator, and what takes place here is the conveyor is pulling these channels, these wedges through the coffee beans. and it's breaking them up even further. So if there's any cherries still on the beans, at this point here, they're being separated. And this whole process will happen for hours and hours until all the cherries have lifted up to the top of the water and have floated out of the channel. So that what's left is the coffee beans, the actual green coffee beans left inside the channel. Still with parchment, but no mucilage and no cherry outer skin. This coffee still has the parchment on it. And the parchment is an outside layer on the bean, not quite like the chaff. The chaff comes from the skin.